I love the blend we have.
We got.
Yeah,
that was terrible.
That was horrible. That's why we're not in sports.
Hello, David.
Hey, Hannah.
Welcome back to a bonus episode of Thank You 5.
Bonus.
I am so excited because I want to learn a little bit about who we are today, who you are, and what your background is.
I'm so excited too.
I know.
Well, why don't you start us out here and tell us a little bit about you?
Absolutely. So my name is Hannah. I grew up right outside of Washington, D.C. And growing up, I trained at a dance studio, and I did musical theater classes, and I was in little productions of musicals, where there were no boys, and I played Gaston and some other characters for fun growing up. And then it wasn't until I really hit high school age that I knew that I wanted to really seriously do this. So I was lucky enough to go to a conservatory high school. Nice. Where we trained all day long, essentially. We had 8:30 ballet every morning, and we trained in all aspects: theater, acting, voice, musical theater, workshop, dance. And I did that for 4 years, and that was kind of life-changing. That was like where I found out who I really was, and and found my people in the theater realm. And so I was very lucky to get to do that. And then I auditioned for colleges for theater because I knew that was like what I wanted to do. So I ended up at Emerson College in Boston, and I spent some years there. It kind of got blown up by COVID. So the pandemic kind of was a hitch in the plan during that time. But I graduated eventually with my BFA, and I minored in dance. Throughout college, I worked doing summer stock at a regional theater. So that was super fun, learning and getting to meet new people. And that's where I learned what discipline was, 13-hour days and working with the best of the best. And a lot of the folks I worked with are now working the professional stages in New York and everything. So what a blessing that was to be surrounded by such talent. Yeah. And I'm honored to get to, call some of them my friends. So that's very exciting. And I worked and I worked and I worked, and then I graduated, and then COVID, we were still like kind of in the depths of COVID, and it was kind of sad when my life, what do I want to do? So I did a production of Rocky Horror, which is one of my favorite productions I've ever done. And at the same time, I was teaching students dance, to just get me going. And I decided I wanted to move someplace where that was warm, and that would make me happy. Yeah. So I took the trip down to Orlando, and I've lived here ever since. I did some theme park work. Great. Seasonal theme park work. I was very, very good friends with some elves from the North Pole. Oh, how fun. So that's super fun. Yeah. And then I ended up at Performer Stuff.
That's amazing.
And I get to do what I love every single day. So I love my journey that I trained my whole life, and I went to school and I got a degree, and I decided that New York was not it for me. I wanted someplace warm, and I'm really proud of that decision because it's hard sometimes to be like, you worked this whole time and the end goal is New York, but I found my end goal here in Orlando. Yeah. And so that's what I love so much about my journey. It's like I found what I loved more than anything. I get to talk about theater every day. In an aspect that brings me joy. And I still get to work with kids, which I love. I love theater education. So through Performer Stuff, we get to do some theater education initiatives. So I love that more than anything. And that's great. Here I am. So I worked regionally, professionally. And now I'm with you, David, sitting here on our podcast. Thank you, 5. Absolutely. What about you? What's some of your background?
Yeah, so I was originally born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. So I'm from the South, but Atlanta's its own little bubble. Yep. So people are like, why don't you have an accent? And I'm like, because I'm in the city. Okay. So, then I, all my life, I did little elementary plays. Yeah. Was part of the elementary drama club. Was in all the middle school and high school productions of everything that we ever did. Loved it. Got to college and kind of simultaneously did kind of a theater and education kind of track.
Yep.
When it was all said and done, majored in education, minored in what they called communications at the time, which was kind of like the blend of theater and then public speaking track. And so I did a lot of collegiate opportunities, did what would be basically show choir in college too. So that involved a lot of theatrical types of performances as well. Madrigals, if anyone's familiar with madrigals, it's all a fun experience to do.
Cool.
Yeah, it is. And then did a lot of like community theater after college.
Yep.
Lived in the town that I graduated in. So not only did I do community theater, but it continued to also be part of the collegiate productions, but as a community member.
Love that.
So again, still staying very connected with all that.
And involved. I love it.
And then it got to an opportunity to where I got to come down and work for Disney World. So getting out of the non-tropics to the tropics area, same as you. And at Disney, even though I was in management, still had opportunities to be part of the cast choir for Candlelight in Epcot, and to be involved in some kind of like smaller cast groups for acting and improv and that kind of stuff. So still kept that up a little bit. And then found my way into Orlando Regional Community Theater and started to do some productions with that. And then that eventually led to COVID, which obviously kind of disrupted a lot of people's plans. And even during COVID, found myself doing online, like Zoom type of theater.
I did a production of Urinetown online.
That's
so
amazing.
You get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's funny.
Oh, yeah, yes. A lot of devised work.
Yeah.
And so that was fun just to kind of keep that going.
Yeah.
Even though we were all at
David,
home.
that's amazing.
And then, and then that eventually led to, searching for jobs post-COVID and led to performer stuff. And here we are now. Yes. But yeah, it's been a great journey, throughout it all, education and theater has always been right there.
Yeah.
And so it's
and just a love for theater.
Yeah.
I love that our backgrounds are so different. You really got like the education community side of theater, and I got the working side of theater, and we kind of came together. And if people don't know, David sees pretty much everything on Broadway at all times. So David's seen, I think,
I don't even know how
almost everything that's been on Broadway this season. So luckily we have that knowledge of seeing somebody who loves to just go watch theater, which is so cool. I love to go watch theater, but I don't get to New York as much as David does.
Well, and Hannah brings such a great perspective, especially on the working aspects of theater, because you've had so many experiences, and then especially with dancing. She's so talented as a dancer, choreographer. I mean, it's amazing to see what she can do. So
Well, thank you.
I love the blend we have.
We got. Yeah, that was terrible.
That was horrible. That's why we're not in sports. Let's try that again.
No, wait. Let me switch it.
Well, am I right? My dominant hand.
So anyway. I'm Hannah.
I'm David.
And we're Performer Stuff's Thank You 5.